to That Show with Matt Giles. I'm your host, Whiteleford B. Hayes. As always, I'll be joined by my friends Joel Wilmot and Mason Reed. Hey, if you like this show, click the follow button. If you like any of the shows on Bricolage Studios Twitch channel, click the follow button. It's a handy little button. Follows us. And then you'll know when we go live, and you can check out this show or check out Tim's Tavern's live feeds. Those are some great shows. Also, we did it. We made it to 50 followers. Yay! We are that one step closer to the affiliate. Now we just need more people watching all at once, which has slowly been going up and up and up. So click the follow button or say something in chat or, hang out. Enjoy. We are retooling a little bit how often we do that show. We're not exactly sure. I think we're going to move to 1 day a week starting next week. We'll let you know more tomorrow, because we're still doing it tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to have Corey Gray of LIGO. I keep calling it LIGO Institute. I think it's LIGO. Just LIGO. It's an observatory. They look for gravitational waves. We're going to talk to them about that. And there was a new thing today about a star orbiting the Milky Way's giant black hole that confirmed Einstein was right. Maybe we'll ask him about that too. And then Tim's Tavern, we're doing another one Friday night at 4 in the afternoon Pacific time, and then Saturday and Sunday at 11:30. So yeah, click that follow button, like us. Let's check on with Joel and Mason, see what they're up to. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. Dude, this week has been rough for me. How's it been for you guys?
This was a funky week.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Productivity was down. Mood was blah. Wasn't bad. It's just all the same though, right? It's just like get up, look around, notice the house hasn't changed, do some dishes, cook some food, do some more dishes. Yeah, that's it. Mason, you're on a farm though. Mason's on a farm. There's always stuff to do on a farm.
That's true.
Yeah, I got lots of chores.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about that? Can I bring up your the ranch you're on?
Sure.
Because they're doing something kind of fun, right? With Zoom or something. Yeah. Explain it, and I'll bring up the webpage.
Well, the Wobbly Ranch is a nonprofit goat rescue located in Snohomish, Washington. It's operated by my sister and her husband. They take goats out of really bad situations and give them a really nice life. In the dairy industry, male goats especially, aren't really needed to produce milk. So when the male goats are born, they just get rid of them pretty quickly with some pretty nasty ways they do it. But anyway, my sister goes in and tries to adopt these goats and lets them grow up and live and die of natural causes. And one of their fundraising methods up until now has been goat yoga. You probably heard of goat yoga. So they were doing goat yoga classes, and they were doing a really good job with it and raising enough money to keep all the goats alive and keep the farm running. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and now we're trying to come up with creative ways for them to stay functional as a nonprofit. And one of those ways is you can have a goat come to your Zoom meeting. I guess that's the new thing she's doing, and a lot of people are jumping on board with this. They love it. So you're going to have a Zoom meeting, and you want to surprise your team or your friends, or you're having whether you're having happy hour with your buddies or you're having a business meeting in the morning, you can kind of rent the goat for 15 minutes or something, and the goat will pop on and, make a bunch of noise, and it's good for morale, good to be silly. And
yeah, my partner Colleen has actually gone to goat yoga and loved the experience so much, and then was talking about this last night. Her and her friends were super excited. My problem with goats, I love them. I just honestly, growing up, would hear them, and their bleating sounded like my dad was yelling for me, and so I wouldn't ever know if my dad was just calling out Adam or if it was the goat next door. So that's my only problem with goats.
Uh, so goats are a little bit of a trigger, are they?
Well, not a trigger. I mean, it's just like, what? Is somebody calling me?
They're noisy, man. They're noisy.
They could be, yeah. They're cute too. I like
Yeah,
them.
they're a lot of fun.
That's funny.
So if you want a goat to join your Zoom meeting, you just go to the wobblyranch.org. Is that right?
wobblyranch.org, I believe, and I think they're calling it telegoating or telegoat or something like this.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? That's awesome.
And there's you can get right a hold. You can go to the Wobbly Ranch on Facebook. You can get a hold of Mandy that way, or just get a hold of her and she'll set up a time. And yeah so we're just gonna be hacking into people's Zoom meetings with a goat on the line this week.
So good.
Yeah, I do like this idea.
I like it.
I think it'll take off.
I was gonna wonder. We don't have the same dry grass problem that they have in California, because all over the hills in Oakland, there's I think 2 different companies that take herds of goats and temporary fencing, and they corral them in, and the goats eat all the dry grass on the hillside for fire prevention.
Yeah, you can get them to come. You can hire them. There's companies. Mandy doesn't do that, but there's companies that do that rent a goat.
Clean your yard, rent
a room in or something like that, and they'll come clear out, because a couple of goats can like clear an acre no problem in a day or two. You don't have to mow. It's cheaper than mowing.
Definitely.
Yeah, and they eat shrubs too. They
love. Crazy thing about goats. They love blackberry bushes, like the thorns and all. They just eat it right up.
I think I need to rent a couple.
Yeah, the blackberry thorns, the blackberry vines or whatever. They are like, super tasty to goats, and they just chomp them down, the thorns and all. So they'll get rid of any of those weeds or any of that shit that you don't want.
That's crazy. Nice. That's awesome.
Goats are handy. But they'll also eat things that you might not want them to eat. So it's better to have a large amount of space that you don't want any of the stuff left. You know what I mean? I guess if you fence it off, it's fine. But yeah.
It reminds me of a study that I was reading about in Africa, where they were doing natural grazing practices, because modern farming has ruined all grasslands, because we keep big herd animals standing in one place, and they just destroy instead of moving around in all kinds of random circles. So they did cows and goats and pigs, and they mixed them all together into a single pen unit, and they let them roam free. And because of all the different foot patterns and all the different grazing styles and all the different techniques that these animals use naturally, natural grasslands rebounded when they rotated plots of land, where other grasslands that have been traditionally were just turning into dust. It was super interesting, but it was because they were incorporating other animals, and goats were like one of the number one reasons, because they forage differently.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. If only we could get the people to do that everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's easy. That's like I heard in Yellowstone that, or maybe it was a national park with bears. I'm good. The bears had come out to play because all the people were gone.
Jellystone.
Oh, it was Yellowstone? Okay.
No, Jellystone.
Hey, boo boo.
It's pretty good, Yogi Bear.
Thanks. I've been practicing. Do you want to talk about some memes? Most of them are yours that you found, Mason. I mean, you didn't make them, but you found them.
I supply your memes now.
You do. You're my hookup. All right. Meme review. It's a terrible song. I know.
You went right back to the original, though. I like it.
Yeah.
Rob.
How many lows can Rob Lowe rob if Rob
I
Lowe
thought that
still
was a
Rob
good
Lowe's?
one. I can't believe
That's a great
nobody
one.
came up with that sooner. I can't believe it took 10 years for me. How long has Lowe's been in business?
Right?
Probably like 30 years. I don't know.
I'm sure somebody came up with it like 10 years ago, but nobody. I just got around served to me, but
That's funny. I like
Yeah.
that one.
We're a little slow here.
yeah.
It is. It's a good.
I met
tongue
that guy.
twister.
He's a good guy.
Rob
Super
Lowe
nice. Yeah,
seems like a nice
Yeah.
nice cat.
super nice.
I like this one too. This picture.
I like that one a lot. I saw that
the
one
Space
too.
Needles.
Yeah, that was funny.
The rest of the Space Needles have returned to Seattle. Nature is so beautiful. Earth is healing. This is like the Bears coming
stupid.
too.
That's like
That's
like 50% of Seattleites' worst nightmare.
yeah.
More
More
Space
space
Needles?
needles.
Yeah, like if there's like the camps, like there's the two camps. People have like a love-hate relationship with it, and then there's the people that just hate it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it depends. Does every one of those in Space Needles have a real shitty restaurant, overpriced restaurant at the top of it?
Well, yeah.
I never went. I don't know if it's good or bad, but yeah.
I hear the.
I heard it's terrible. I heard it's terrible.
Oh.
Or I didn't hear it's terrible. I just heard that it's not the quality that you would expect from the price that you pay to sit on top of those.
That's all the
Space
food
Needle.
in Seattle Center. There's a premium for the touristy spot. You know what I mean?
It's fair.
Yeah.
I can't read who drew this. I found it online. It's Mate or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh bother.
Tiger poo. Tiger King poo.
Yeah.
Tigger King. I guess that'd be
bit.
the Tigger King.
That's true. Yeah. T.I. double gur.
I don't think Tiger's too into it.
He's probably not. Yeah.
He's looking really not happy.
Yeah, 2020 is a unique leap year. Has 29 days in February, 300 days in March, and 5 years in April.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yep.
The last one I think
Somebody is saying, and it's what a weird year. It's April 15th, and the IRS sent me a check.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put that together. That yesterday was the deadline
Was
for
tax
filing.
day.
The first. Yeah.
Normal filing, yeah. Have you filed? Did you do your taxes already?
Colleen did them all, and I believe they are filed and done. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Mine are stalled. I'm waiting on some information for business stuff that I have to do. So
Yeah.
luckily, I filed an extension anyway, but luckily I'll have them done by July.
Nice. Yeah, the extension was helpful. This isn't a meme so much as I love the band Cake. I think most of you know this. I'm wearing a Cake shirt, which I didn't plan with this. But this came out on their Instagram yesterday, and it's right down there at the bottom that they said you can expect a new album in 2021. So I got all excited.
Really?
Wanted to tell our 5 viewers right now.
Wow, how long? It's been a long time since they put out a record.
Yeah, I think 11 years or something. 10 years. Can it be that long? It seems like forever. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited. Cake also released I don't know if they made it, but they put it out on their fan webpage. But it's a crossword puzzle that is Cake related.
Nice.
Like, do you guys know 20 Across, the lead singer of Cake?
Nope. I'm a fan of Cake. I like Cake's music, but I couldn't tell you who was in the band.
Mason's.
I know the name, but I can't tell you. What?
If I give you the first name, you think you could get the last name?
I don't know.
John.
Nope.
Smith.
John McCrae. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, this might not come through.
Oh, yeah.
This is how much I love Cake. This was a birthday present from Colleen one
Fiber
year.
slap.
Yeah, but it's a fiber slap.
Nice.
Yeah, which they use a lot.
All right.
Maybe we can have John McCrae on the show. John, come on the show. What are you doing right
I'm
now?
sure he'll do it. Yeah.
I
Got
know
nothing to
you're-
do.
He's obviously
Making it
he's obviously watching us on Twitch right now.
I think he is. I'm gonna reach out to them.
You never know. You never know who those 5 people are.
It's true. It's true. Cool. Well, should we
Probably like my parole officer, your mom, you know, couple
One of my two
random
moms.
gaming weirdos.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Clicked on the wrong button. Nope.
Yeah.
Should we talk to Dennis?
Yeah.
Great. Our guest today is Dennis Milam Bensie. He is he's worked with me. Well, I've worked with him. However that works. He's well known in the theater community as a dresser and a wig master, and he's also an author with 3 books. He'll correct me. Maybe there's 4. That are memoirs and a book of poetry. And I just think he's an interesting guy and super awesome. So I wanted to bring him on today. Let's see. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Oh, hello.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Like I said, the week was pretty rough because I got diagnosed with diverticulitis, which is painful for me at least. It hasn't been fun.
I think it's painful for everybody. I think that's like one of the it's
I did call my doctor back and say, hey, how do I manage this pain? And they were like, Tylenol. And I was like, well, how much should it hurt? And they're like, oh, it's going to hurt. It's like, thanks.
Oh no.
You can't just
stay away
walk.
from no sesame seed buns for you.
No, What did you say, Dennis?
You can't just walk it off.
Apparently not. No. It
Okay.
Yeah.
sticks around. Nice. Oh, Chupa is watching. Hi, Chupa.
Nice.
Good to see
Aloha,
you.
Brian. Ah.
Chupa's an old friend of ours, our Dennis.
Oh, okay.
Isn't he going to be a guest? Isn't he going to be a guest?
He
Yeah,
is.
we're
As soon as
talking
he
about-
replies to me and tells me what he wants to do.
Chupa, let us know
Yeah.
when you want to do it.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, what have you been up to? Because you were working. Were you on the bounce or were you at a theater?
I'm on the bounce, which means I go where, for my main source of income, I go wherever the union sends me. I had just finished doing 4 weeks of Frozen at the Paramount, and I was about to start a play called Sweat at ACT, and I went to my first day at Sweat at ACT, and 2 hours later they sent me home. The show was not canceled, but it was postponed until they knew what to do. So so then I have not worked since that day at ACT,
Oh, wow.
where I didn't do much that day because we all kind of knew we were going to be sent home that day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been rough for
So-
everybody. It happened so quick. It was like, oh, nope, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I think that was the 11th of March. So I have been home since then, entertaining myself, trying not to go crazy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Frozen, was Patty Grab, was she the
Stage manager.
stage manager?
Yeah.
There were several stage managers on Frozen.
Yeah, she's one of them.
Like on tours, you have to. There's 3 people that can do every job on a tour. So, and I didn't really get to meet any of those people. There's so many people on Frozen, and it's sort of a big ugly machine, to be frank. And so there was just a lot of moving parts and a lot of people. So, although we did it for a month, there's not a lot of socializing.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, that was at Paramount, you said, right?
That was at the Paramount,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Nice.
The whole
Yeah.
month of February.
Yeah, that can be big.
Yes.
So you're also an author. You have
Yeah.
Shorn, Toys to Men, which is a memoir.
Yeah.
You have
I've
Flit.
written
Go ahead.
4 books.
Oh, it is 4. Okay.
4. Shorn Toys to Men was my first book. It came out in 2011. My second book was called One Gay American, another memoir. It came out, I think, in 2012. And then, there's my page.
Yeah.
And then Flit was a book of poetry. It came out, I think, in 2015, and I might have these dates right. And then I think in 2017 was my last book that I wrote, called 30 Years a Dresser. And that was a memoir about my career working backstage in theater, where we always have, those of us who work in the business, we all have stories of mishaps and crazy things and crazy people that we work with backstage. Um, Sort of like old fisherman stories.
Uh-huh.
And so I've had these stories for years, and about mishaps and crazy things, and you tell them at parties and stuff like that, and they're funny and everyone laughs. And then usually people have stories they want to share that they've been through, and I'm sure you have some as well.
Couple.
And so I finally wrote them down. It started off as a weekly column for an online magazine, and then I compiled them into a book, and that was the last thing I've written for a while.
Fair enough. But these books, like, people love them. I remember
Well, I
when.
hope so.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work if they don't.
that's true. That's true. Um, but no, Shorn Toys to Men. When that came out, there was a lot of magazines saying it was like, well, what was the one quote? Now I'm blanking, but it was like the most overlooked novel of 2011 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think The Advocate, the national gay magazine that's been around forever, they called it one of the best overlooked books of 2011. And it got a lot of good press. I think of all of my books, it's gotten the most national press and the most reviewed. So that was a great start. And then each of my books kind of had a different niche that different people would find them, and they kind of all have their own personality.
Yeah, they are all sort of different.
Yes,
Yeah, you're right. I could see why it's a
you know,
different
and
niche.
and they're like, in a way, they're like children, my children, and some of them annoy me, and some of them I love more than others. Maybe I'll admit that. And some of them were easier to birth than other books
Yeah.
that I wrote. So, yeah, and I've also written a bunch of short stories and essays. I wrote a play that's been workshopped, but nothing's happened with that. I've worked on a screenplay. I still dabble, but I haven't written anything that's been published or gotten any notice since 30 Years a Dresser.
Do you find this time where you have, your regular day job is sort of on hold? Do you find that more inspiring or more time to do stuff, or a little bit harder because you don't necessarily have all the rhythms and schedules and stuff?
Well, it's a little bit harder as a writer because I haven't really been inspired to really write in a while. The last thing I really worked on was a screenplay, and nothing really has happened with that. And I have to have the seed in my head before I can really do anything with it. And I don't have any sort of writing seed in my head right now. So I've been crafting and sewing and doing other things at home. It seems I'm kind of sad because I don't have a writing thing in my queue in my head. So this would be a lot of time to work on it. But I don't have it right now. And if you don't have it, you can't really force it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm retired as a writer, but there just hasn't been anything that's excited me enough back into that right now. So, but other things have been exciting me. So I'm still engaged, but not necessarily with words.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
What craft are you working on today?
I am sewing. What I talked a lot about in Shorn. I had this fascination with dolls and creating them and making clothes and like doing their hair and stuff like that. And as a little boy, I always wanted to have dolls to play with, but my parents wouldn't let me have them because I was a boy. And so that led me down a path where I started stealing them and shoplifting them and stealing them from cousins and hiding them from my parents and stuff. And so I had this whole secret world surrounded about dolls and doll playing and role playing and stuff like that. And so when I became adult, I'm like, can I curse? Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck the parents. I'm going to have a doll if I want a doll. So I've got a doll that it's, it's fun to make clothes for this doll, and I enjoy doing that. I like the design aspect. I'm sort of pretending like I'm in the top three on Project Runway, and I'm designing a line of clothes
That's
for this
awesome.
doll in the same.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that, and I like it. It's been fun. It's enjoyable. And I started sewing, and everyone's like, "You should make masks. You should be making masks. Why don't you make some masks?" And I'm like, "I don't want to make masks. I want to make doll clothes."
Yeah.
So yeah, more than I've had people. I need you to make me some masks. I'm like, I don't want to make any masks. Leave me alone. I'm making doll clothes.
I don't blame you.
And then I go
Yeah.
to the
Yeah,
so then I go,
masks sound cool like when you make two.
yeah, yeah,
You make two cool ones so that you have a first half of the week and a second half of the week one for yourself, and
yeah,
then it's no longer cool. You may get some reward out of like helping out your community by spreading, by doing something good. It's still not a cool
yeah.
project. It's like it's a
Well,
mask.
and masks are not interesting to me. I know they're necessary, and
Yeah.
people are
Hmm.
really into it. I'm glad they're into it, so I don't have to do it. But I don't want to make any masks. I can point you to friends who are making them, and they can hook you up, and that's what I've been doing. I've been saying, "Oh, I don't have time to make masks because I'm making doll clothes. So why don't you talk to my friend Patty, or why don't you talk to my friend, uh, whoever."
Yeah.
So yeah, I just sort of push that off and keep sewing on my personal things that I think are more interesting.
I'm with you. I have a 3D printer, and almost everybody that knows this has been like, "Oh, are you making masks? Or are you making those little things that go on the back to save people's ears?" And I'm like,
Oh
nope, nope, haven't.
no!
I've been doing fun
So
stuff.
I went to the Joann Fabrics because I needed some quarter-inch elastic for the waistband of my doll clothes. There's no quarter-inch elastic anywhere because they're all
Yeah.
using them for the masks around the ears. So I
Yeah.
was furious, absolutely furious. How dare they it's like toilet paper and quarter-inch elastic. It's all, you can't find it.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So
Um,
that's kept me.
this is something I don't know, but can you take half-inch elastic and just cut it, or no? Does that unravel?
I found that you could. I was about to cut the elastic off my underwear, but I didn't do that.
You need underwear.
Yeah, so but no, I didn't get that desperate, but I did find some wider elastic and cut it in half, and it didn't unravel. And I also found we'll just turn this into a drawstring. We'll make this into a
Oh, yeah,
drawstring
yeah,
of elastic.
yeah.
So
It's just like Project Runway. You run out of time or material,
it is.
and you improvise.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
improvise. You have to be smart and savvy.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, old school dresses, like dolls' clothes, were all drawstrings and ties. It was before elastics. I
Yes.
remember,
So
like, I have
it's a
there's
whole new
dolls that float
culture.
around our houses that have that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Do you have any word on when you might go back, or no? I mean, to work or act or
Um,
anything?
what I'm hearing is it's going to be at least August before there's any theater work. I just heard today that, and I wanted to like scream when I heard this, that maybe there'll be no more theater for the rest of
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's a lot of doll clothes to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of elastic I don't have. So
Yeah.
I don't think, I think that the theaters are planning seasons to start in the fall, and that hopefully this situation will be containable to where we can have some form of theater and gatherings by the fall. Certainly in Washington, where we seem to have done better than the rest of the country as far as
Yeah.
doing what we need to do to social distance and stuff like that, and lower the curve, as they call it. So we'll see. I would hate to think that we don't have any employment or any live theater through the rest of this year. I think that would be very, very bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
I think
agree.
that's a fair
For
statement.
everybody working in it and for the culture as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I know like the Fifth Avenue Theater and most of the theaters have planned this for seasons to start, and they've done their selection. They don't have maybe they've got the plays picked. They don't necessarily have dates as
Oh,
to when those
interesting.
plays
Yeah.
will be. Like if you
Hmm.
look at the Fifth Avenue Theater's brochure, they have the plays selected, but you'll notice there's no dates or calendar.
Hmm. I
So
Right.
hadn't noticed. Yeah.
yeah,
I think for the
so it's a
rep
little
where
scary.
Joel and I work, they still have dates, but that's sort of our season startup anyway, is the fall. So
Yeah,
I think we're hopeful.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
but
California
I'm
announced
assuming.
yesterday or the day before, Gavin Newsom announced that organized events will be held back until September.
That
Oh.
So
seems fair.
any long-standing organized events need to wait until September. Now, I can't. I was just talking to a friend down there yesterday because our show is the last weekend of September, the Monterey Jazz
Hmm.
Festival.
Joel does
So
it
that was
every year too.
he was the
Yeah.
question. Yeah, he was calling me and asking me because he's one of the stagehands that works the show for me, and just to check in. But the uh, the question was whether or not that September was end of September, beginning of September, and obviously it's all going to be it's a moving target, obviously, but it's the first real definitive announcement I'd heard yet
Yeah.
that went into August or past August. Um,
Well,
Hmm.
and Washington and California have been doing very well,
mhm.
playing by the rules and doing what they need to do. And I would think that, say, they're going to open a show in September. It's going to take at least 3 to 4 or longer weeks for that show to be ready to go on stage. So, that would push it to, maybe late July or August when people can be employed behind the scenes to get ready
Mhm.
for an audience in September.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
fingers crossed.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I just had a thought. Mason, you'll have to ask your sister, but is it ethical to dress up goats? And Dennis, what would a good goat outfit be if you were going to make one?
Durable.
Yeah.
Wipes clean with a damp cloth,
Uh,
hopefully, or a hose. I don't know. I would think, I'm sure goats have personalities that you would want to sort of get to know your goat. Figure out, is your goat more a pastel goat or a corduroy goat, or and figure out from there. Um,
I love this.
I would treat that goat as a friend and figure out what's going to make that goat shine.
Nice. That's perfect.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great answer.
thank you. I've had
And
time.
Wiley, the answer to your question is no. There is nothing unethical about goats. They love getting dressed up. They wear. Well, we've had a lot of fairy wings, and
Mhm.
there's been some. Well, Olaf has a little orange wig because he's President Olaf,
Oh,
so he wears a little orange wig, and
okay.
he has press conferences, and then Seamus probably would. He's a big fat goat. He'd probably like to wear a kilt. I think he's our
Oh,
Scottish goat. But
This,
okay.
this is awesome.
Now, can a
and then
goat
we of
double
course
as?
we have Ruth Bader Goatsberg, and she obviously would want to be wearing her robe. And Ruth Bader Goatsberg has her own Instagram, and it's awesome, by the way. If you go on to
Does
check
she
it
have
out.
her own
Oh, okay.
dissenting collar?
Yeah, she has a
Wait.
gavel. She does have a gavel.
Oh, okay. Can a goat double as a unicorn?
Oh.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't see why not. Some of the, it's an unfortunate thing, but some of the goats we have here, the male ones, they cut their horns off when they're real young, and so they don't even have
Ooh,
horns. So we could
Oh.
give them a unicorn horn.
yeah.
Yeah, that would. It might. It would. I wouldn't make it out of anything too sharp because it would be dangerous the way they like to ram.
Yeah.
That's goats like to headbutt. That's kind of how they play. So
Yeah, and I don't think unicorns like to headbutt. So
It's true.
that would be maybe a cardboard horn that wouldn't hurt. You
Yeah.
know, and
I love it.
might be a goat might not want to be a unicorn, and that could be a problem.
Yeah,
That's
you
Right.
yeah you wouldn't
You don't want
you
to beg
wouldn't
your
want
goat.
to you wouldn't want to force a goat into being something he doesn't want to be.
No, that never.
If
It never
If-
works out, does it?
No.
if
You don't
if
want-
Mason gets you some pictures, can we commission a goat outfit from you, Dennis?
As long as it doesn't involve quarter-inch elastic, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's awesome.
Or toilet paper.
Perfect.
Or toilet paper. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I think we should do that.
That's so funny. So funny.
Yeah. I can see me taking the tissue paper and patterning the goat outfit, around, putting the paper over the goat and drawing the lines of where the seams would be, and I could do that.
Awesome.
That's fun.
I mean, I've done a lot of things in theater, and when I write the sequel to my book, 30 Years a Dresser, I could have a goat chapter.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Or like when you reissue it, if you don't have a whole another 30 years of stories, you could just have a new forward with the goat story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I did 30 Years of Dresser. I'm like, okay, it's been 30 years. And then I thought, well, what about 50 Years of Dresser? I'm like, 50 Years of Dresser? Oh my God, I don't want anything to do with that. I think by the time I hit 50 Years of Dresser, just put me in a wheelchair.
Hopefully you can still.
I think, yeah, I think for many of us, it would be, it's just the statement, the subtext or between the lines of that title is really, boy, weren't you a poor retirement planner?
Yeah.
Which is going to be true in my case.
That's just all of theater. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be true. I'm not saying that I've done well, but that's what I hear when you say that.
I hope that I'm not backstage dressing a show in my 70s, because that would be really ugly. I'd be like, I could see me in like one of those little carts, little motorized carts with a little basket of needle and
Like
thread,
the Rascal or whatever. Yeah.
little rascal backstage, and
A
everyone.
lot of
just
theaters that'd be
doesn't-
tough because there's so many stairs.
True.
Yeah.
They designed the set around my rascal.
That'd be great.
Starlight
Starlight Express.
It's all about inclusion. we gotta keep us all working. Yeah.
Yeah, they keep me employed because they're scared of me. They don't want to piss me off. So we can't fire him because he'll sue us. So just put the upstairs of the house. Just make a ramp. Just put a ramp up there. That is, yeah. So we can do a quick change upstairs.
Awesome.
That would be fine.
Cool. Well, if Mason and Mandy are up for it, I will talk to you about a goat outfit. I think that'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
I'm there.
You can start a whole new business.
Yeah, we're in.
Goats.
I'm in too.
All right. Thanks so much for coming, Dennis. It was great talking to you. I hope things are.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I hope things go well for you and that we all get back to work July or sooner if possible. But
Yes,
in the meantime, have fun making outfits.
I will. And
Yeah,
if you
man.
see any quarter-inch elastic, let me know.
I will. I might have some in the garage. I know we've got a
Oh.
little bit. I didn't know I was sitting on gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
eBay's calling.
I'll meet you in a dark in Pioneer Square. And we can do this elastic deal.
I just think of you 20 years from now in a little rascal with a light in the middle of a dark alley.
Yes,
doing your deal.
He's on the water stick.
I could see that'd be fine. I'm there.
Cool. Great. Thanks again. And
You bet.
Yeah, if you want to hang around, you can watch the rest of the show. It's just a wrap up. If not, yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Dennis.
Dennis Milam Bensie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Alrighty.
Cool. That was Dennis. He's a great guy.
Super great.
Great
Yeah.
guy.
It's awesome.
it's tough for everybody in theater right now. So it's nice that we have projects that we're doing and working on. But I just hope we can all get some work going.
Yeah, the project's going to get less and less interesting with less and less money available. You know,
Yeah.
because
Sure.
they tend to cost some things. There's only so many holes you can spackle without spackle.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know unemployment's helping a lot of us, but that only
Sure.
lasts so long. So.
Right.
So tomorrow we got Corey Gray. He's at the LIGO. What are they? Caltech LIGO, even though it's in Washington. He's a lead operator at LIGO, and they look at, I think, when two black holes collide, there's a warp in the space-time continuum, and then Marty McFly comes out and says, "This is heavy." He'll explain better tomorrow. But he's our
Perfect.
guest tomorrow at 1.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am gonna ask him about the star orbiting the black hole at the center of the Milky Way, and how that affects what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because I know they're two different things, but it all has to do with the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
Powerful
new
space stuff.
theory too. Complements that geometric something geometry. I'll have to look it up. I'm gonna ask him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as much as I know too. Geometry, something.
He's gonna be the smartest guy on our show ever.
I'm gonna
It's
read
true.
I'll read an article so I can keep up.
Nice. Yeah, you'll be better than me because I don't know that I can keep up, and I read like 4 articles this morning. So, cool guys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks to our
Yeah.
guest, Dennis, and see everybody tomorrow. Oh yeah, we should talk after the show about how we're doing next week. But next week, I think we're just doing 1 episode. So yeah, everybody tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, and then 4 p.m. for Tim's Tavern Live. And then yeah, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.